Welcome to another edition of All Octaves with me, Val Kleinhans, where we chat with music fans and the musicians that make the music we love. Today, Nick from Sleeping Jesus is in the building. Indie rockers, they're here. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I'm so glad you're here. The music speaks for itself, but one of my favorite things about you is the grunge vintage aesthetic that you have to your videos. Is that design intentional?
Yeah, I feel like it kind of matches the what we try to like match it with something that we're doing musically, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like and we just love like, old Super 8 style film and
Mm-hmm.
VHS style film and just stuff that looks a little messed up. So that's just kind of what we levitate towards, I think.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
kid of the 90s, so VHS is definitely right up my alley, and that's probably
For
why I caught it when I was like,
Right.
yes,
Yeah. I don't have a VHS. My van has a cassette player, but
nice.
yeah, so I love all that stuff.
Cool. Well, so for those who have no clue who Sleeping Jesus is or what Sleeping Jesus is about, can you describe your sound? I know I said indie rock, but it's got to be more than that.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of going through a change now sound wise, and I guess we always have slightly like started out more of like bedroom pop, like
Hmm.
dream pop, and then sort of with our debut album that we put out last year, that was we really kind of like wanted to go for just like pop. So it's just
Hmm.
kind of like this our weird take on pop music. And now I feel like we're kind of going in like a more of a rock and roll sort of direction, which has been really fun. So
Hmm.
uh, yeah, I guess indie rock is the best way to explain it. But I've been kind of explaining is like we love like vintage pop, we love modern pop, and just trying to marry those two things together.
Yeah, the sound is there. I mean, you did mention a little bit ago, like your latest release, that album is called Leave the Party Early. Tell me about that for anybody who hasn't heard it before.
Sure. Yeah, that one is um like I said, like we wanted to do something that was like more of a pop production. So it's like it's kind of intense, like instrumentally, and like, we're using like auto tune on the voices, and the drums are like slammed really hard,
Hmm.
and we use triggers, and that was almost like in part a necessity of what how we recorded it, because we did that kind of on our own, like like engineering wise, so like
Hmm.
at different some of our houses, and then the producer Mike Noyce that we worked with, we did some stuff at his studio too, but it was just kind of like pieced together. It's almost like a collage of sounds, I think, in that way.
Yeah, and in that way, there is something for everybody. When I browse your Instagram, I can tell that you're most excited about the shows that you're playing, like maybe even more so than the music itself. And
Yeah.
I find that every musician just has their own answer to this question. So I just would love to know what yours is. Why do you love shows so much? What do they do for you?
Well, I think it's like a way for us to like really connect with like people, like, and also just to like see people enjoying music, and if it's something that you've made feels really special, and like people giving you their time and energy is like such a kind of magical thing. And especially like we kind of live on screens and
Mm,
on social media, and shows can be such a like real experience for people still. And like, I don't know, I sort of levitate towards that, and it's just yeah, it's just a real experience,
yeah.
something that you don't always get.
Are you ever surprised when you're like, oh my God, there's still people showing up and they're here and they're here in
Yeah,
great numbers?
it's amazing, like we always get a little nervous like when we're promoting shows and stuff like that. It's like I hope people show up, and it's like it like we're gonna have fun no matter what, but like, we always want there to be more the merrier, basically. Like it just makes it more fun when more people are there.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that promotion because you're relatively a newer band ish. We'll say ish, kind of.
Yeah.
So, how does the promotion go for someone that is still wanting to get their name out there? They still want to grow their fan base. What's the promotion situation like in that scenario?
Well, I just kind of know what works for us. I know there's a lot of ways that people do things. Like I haven't really jumped on the whole TikTok thing. I try a
Got
little
it.
bit, but like I've found it for us that it's like I would rather just put our energy into a couple things and try to do that well than like
Mm,
try to spread ourselves too thin. So it's like we use Instagram a lot, and I feel like that's like a good way to like put a face to something, and it's an easy like platform for us to interact with people and um fans or people that enjoy our music or friends. And so I think that's kind of like the route that we take. I still love hanging like physical posters up for shows.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And so yeah, anyway we can get the word out without being too annoying.
I don't
That's the
know if it's
main goal.
possible. Like, I don't know if it's possible to be too annoying because you do want to get the word out and you don't
Yeah.
know how or when somebody's going to see something, especially when everything is so saturated
Right,
anymore.
right.
Like, it's hard to break through. So, you mentioned that there was kind of a focus on priorities and that maybe that changes from time to time. What's the priority for Sleeping Jesus now?
I would say main priority for us is like, I mean, shows are super important, like I mentioned, like having that experience, but also like we're really in a spot right now where we want to record and put out as much music as possible.
Hmm.
So we have like another album that's like close to being finished that we're going to try to put out this year. And I have like another album's worth of material that we're kind of sitting on. So it's like the hope is to continue just writing and immersing ourselves in that field, or like that in immersing ourselves in writing and recording music, I think is kind of our
Yeah.
next big our big step that we're working towards, is like to do that more often.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm like working on a little studio in my backyard right now.
Oh,
So
fun.
hopefully we'll be like in the next like couple months we'll be able to do some self-recording back there. So that'll be really nice.
Yeah, maybe that helps the process for the next album too, if all of you are just able to come right there.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be so great. Like, and this record that we're working on right now is, we did it a lot different than Leave the Party Early. This one is going to be like, this one was like all of us playing in a room live together. We went down to
Hmm.
the Magic Barn in Iowa, which is like this beautiful studio that's in this barn. It's run by this really nice guy named Steve. He bought all this like old vintage equipment from this um, recording studio in New York that
Hmm.
unfortunately closed down, called what was it called? The Magic Shop. So he like brought all that gear to Iowa and like kind of put the studio back together in Iowa.
Yeah,
So it's kind of a magic place.
of all places. Like, see, like if people think nothing's happening in the Midwest, there you go. There's still
Yeah,
somebody's doing something. The wheels are turning here.
right. And I love that. We love the Midwest, and it's like, I don't know, it feels special to be doing something here because like, I don't know, it seems like it'd be easy to run off to, it wouldn't be easy, but the coasts are always
Yeah,
like,
I get what
if
you're
you're
saying.
an artist and musician, it's like, oh, you should go to LA or New York or something like that. But we're really happy being in like the Minneapolis area, and some of the guys are still living in Winona, and it's cool. I get to go back there quite a bit, and we just like it here.
Yeah, the promotion behind the band. I know we talked a little bit about that already, but one of my favorite things that you did was the bumper sticker that says "I slept with Jesus." Who is who is the genius behind that? Because that is memorable and that is awesome.
Oh, thank you. That one was my idea, I believe.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I think I made a couple different stickers that were kind of funny and stupid, a little stupid. And I sent them to the guys, and then I posted one on Instagram, just like, would anybody be interested in this? And like there was kind of an overwhelming response to that. So I was like, okay, we probably should get some of these made. So now they exist.
You found your audience, even in
Yeah.
even in what some people might think is conservative Midwest area. Like it's you found your audience.
We found it. Yes, exactly.
I correct me if I'm wrong, but I did a little bit of reading on the website. Are you playing South by Southwest this year?
No, so
What's
we
okay?
do
What
we
happened?
played like unofficial South by Southwest in March, I guess is what you would call it. We
Okay,
didn't perform at like the official event, is what I'm saying is, but we played 8 shows in Austin during South by Southwest, which like a
okay,
lot of other bands like us kind of do the same thing, and it's like just really nice to like meet other like-minded people, and we even threw our own show at really cool cidery in town when we were down there, and a lot of really fun bands played. So it was a awesome experience.
yeah. How
Yeah.
were you able? How were you able to do that in a market that maybe you're not as familiar with, or maybe you are familiar with? Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, no. I mean, we have played in Austin before. Like we played in 2019 and I think like 2018. So we played there a
Mhm.
couple times, but we definitely like don't have like an actual fan base there. But you know, to play that was like honestly a lot of scouring the internet for shows that had happened in the past, and like also just getting in touch with people I know down in that area and trying to piece something together. And it was like, well, if we can get a few things together, like we'll make the trip down, and it's gonna be fun no matter what.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
is the story behind the origin of the band name? Because I know this is like your baby, as I understand it.
Yeah, it's it started as a solo project, but it's morphed into it's like a full band thing now. It's definitely a full
Mhm.
band thing. But the name is just like a phrase my grandma would say about lazy people. She would just call lazy people sleeping Jesuses. So that's where the name came from. I lifted that from my grandma.
What does she mean when she would say that? Just people
Just
being
like
lazy.
someone's like who is out to lunch, like
Oh, okay.
you know,
Not
just
coherent.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, okay, that kind of matches the vibe of what I'm making right now. So
Because it's kind of dreamy. The vibe is kind of whatever the flow is at the time. I got it.
yeah, yeah, and it's like always changing, but I think when it's first started, that was like the vibe.
Okay. And how
Yeah.
did you meet your bandmates?
Yeah. Tyler Steinley, who drums, he is the first gentleman I met, and I met him in college. And I can't remember what the class was, but we were like showing some things that we had been working on, and I showed one of my songs, I think that was a demo at the time, and he was like interested in
Mhm.
drumming and playing together. So I was like, oh, I guess we could like try to put a band together. And then there were a couple other guys who were in the band for like a year, about a year, a little over a year. And then, just life stuff came up and
Yeah.
we made like some changes. Um, and then I'm trying to think, Andy Bauer, the bassist, is the guy who we met next. And I think he like the first time he played with us, he was like just filling in, I think, at the time.
Oh, okay.
And
Got it.
we had the show with the band The Staves in Lacrosse. We were opening up, and so that was his first show, which was really fun. And then eventually, like, he joined the band full time, and then from there, Seamus St. Clair joined on guitar. Um, and then after that, he's really tight with Dante DeGrazia, who's our keyboardist, and like he was kind of like we should get Dante in on
Okay.
this. So that was now it's a 5 piece, and that's now it's like it feels like a family.
Yeah. Is it
Yeah,
nerve-wracking to show them what you want to bring to the band?
not really. Like I think it's because I've been doing it for a really long time.
Mhm.
Like I'm not maybe at one point it was, but I'm not really I'm, I'm not afraid to make a bad song.
Yeah.
These days, like I would rather, I'm kind of in the mindset right now of like writing more songs. Some of them are going to be bad, some of them are going to be good, and I'm fine with that. I think there was in the past, I put more pressure on myself, like, oh, I'm only going to work on like what I think are really good ideas. But now it's like I will, I'll kind of follow whatever road, even if it seems stupid.
Got it. Is that the biggest piece of advice you would maybe give to any other musician? Is just like, if it sucks, it sucks. Who cares? Just go for it. Just
Yeah,
try it
yeah,
out.
because you gotta write a bunch of bad songs to get some good ones. And I think the more you do that, hopefully the more good songs you'll write eventually. And also like I would just rather do that than like overthink things. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, just better to throw paint at the wall and pick up what pick up what works, throw away what doesn't, learn from it.
yeah. It's a form of art. Like, I completely understand that. Was that
Yeah.
your was that your intention when you started Sleeping Jesus? Where you're like, this is just gonna be a canvas that I paint with, and that's all I see it as?
Yeah,
What was your
kind of.
intention starting it?
Like I didn't really think it was going to be a band at the time. Like I had been working on like demos and songs for years, and like I was playing drums in a different band for a while, and I had just always kind of wanted to be a part of the music world. And I
Mm,
don't know that I always knew exactly why or how I wanted to be a part of it, but I think songwriting was just something that I thought was cool and I wanted to do, and I wanted to like it helped me feel more connected to that world, I think.
mhm.
Yeah.
Did music help you as a person at all? Did it maybe help you break out of your shell or give you something to have in common with other people? What did music do for you?
Yeah, all of those things like it definitely it gives me a purpose because it's like one of the things I care most deeply about, and like songwriting in itself is one of the things I care most deeply about. So in that sense it's given me a purpose, and it's like the band my bandmates are like my best friends, so it's like
Mm.
it's broken down some barriers in that sense too, where I was maybe like too shy to meet people, so it's like given me a sense of community as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I can't imagine you ever being shy. How did you how did you get over that?
um I think I didn't want to be shy, so I just did
Cut up.
things that made me uncomfortable. And like
Oh.
I'm still trying sometimes. I like even after we haven't played a show in a while, I'm like, and I'm kind of just in like songwriting mode. It can be like, okay, I got to push myself to like we're going to be around people again and all that
Mhm.
stuff. And that stuff just got worse during COVID, like when we couldn't
Oh, I
do
can only
shows and stuff.
imagine.
So getting back into it. But now we're kind of back like full swing, and I feel like I found a good like balance as far as like we're playing a lot of shows, we're planning to play a lot more shows, also writing as much as possible. So it feels really healthy, and like it feels like the band is working as hard as we ever have, and we're like it seems like we're in a good spot, kind of like reborn
Yeah.
almost in a sense. Yeah.
So what is next for Sleepy Jesus? What can we look forward to? We've got shows. I heard new music. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, we have like a bunch of shows. Our next one is in Minneapolis on June 1st at the Hook and Ladder. Then we're playing Bonfire Festival in Yuba, Wisconsin on I think June 9th, that is. And then we've got like I think it's July 8th we're playing at in Lanesboro.
Hmm.
So we're just kind of bopping around the Midwest right now, and we're gonna do probably one more Minneapolis show in the summer. And then while we're doing this, we're like hoping to get this record finished, and basically the hope for that is to put a record out in the fall and do some more touring. Like I think we're gonna plan to hit like Texas again. We're gonna go to New York in August. So just a lot of shows and a lot of music.
Yeah, and doing it
Yeah.
while writing and hopefully recording at the same time. How are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
navigating all of that?
Yeah, it can be tricky, especially with like a couple of us living in Minneapolis and a few in Winona. It's like we try to get some rehearsals in, like depending on where the show is going to be, we'll rehearse in Winona or Minneapolis, and then
Mm,
um I'll send the boys demos of new songs, and everybody just tries to make time for it because everybody's got things going on, but it's all the project is like a priority for everybody, which is really cool. So we're all just putting as much energy into it as we can. We want to make something that's special to us and hopefully special to other people.
yeah. What do you
Yeah.
attribute that commitment to? Because sometimes bands struggle with that. They struggle
Right.
with everybody being on the same page or everybody having the same level of commitment. You guys don't have that problem. What's the secret?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think some of it is luck that
Yeah.
like five like-minded guys ended up in this situation together. So I feel really lucky about that. And I also think because we're like all really good friends, that
Okay.
also puts us on the same page. And honestly, like all of us really love music, and we like cool records and songs, and like I think we just want to do that. We want to do more of that, whatever that takes. So I think that's what puts us kind of all on the same page, is like we just want to make the best thing we can possibly make together and see what we can do as a
Yeah.
group. Yeah.
Sounds like heaven. Just
Yeah.
BSing about music and playing it. I like if I were a musician, that's what I would be wanting to do.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, like it's a lot of work, but it's like also I wouldn't want to do anything really different.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that we are at where we're at, and that we're going to be, you know, writing writing and recording and playing and all that good stuff.
Yeah. What's the
Yeah.
last good record or good song that you feel you've heard? Because for me, it's been Paramore's This Is Why. That's been the best release of the year for
Okay.
me so far. What about for you?
Um, I'm trying to think. This week I've really been listening to this band called Houndmouth. I don't know
Hmm.
where they're from, but they're kind of like uh indie Americana
Okay.
songwriter vibes, but and it's like a record from I think 2021, but I've been just listening. I don't know the name of it, sorry, but I've been just putting that kind of on repeat and doing my thing all week, and I absolutely love some of the songs on there. And it sounds gorgeous too.
Well, I'll have to check that out later.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for your time. We're looking forward to everything you're up to, and we'll definitely check it out on Instagram and stay connected. I'm so appreciative of you being here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Good chatting with you.